Hi guys, JT here, and today I'll be bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle Storied Strategy and Role-Playing Bundle of August 2022 to help you answer the question, should you buy it? If you want to know more about game deals, then feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps the channel out. So let's get into this. At number 1, we have Age of Wonders Planetfall Premium Edition, a fusion of 4X and tactical turn-based strategy game. The goal of this game is to grow your empire and build a new future for your people. Not much of a story going here, but that's secondary in this game. The main focus of this game is the gameplay blend itself. After going through a tutorial section as the humans, Vanguards, you can choose from one of 3 factions available to you to start the story missions. There are a total of 8 factions in Planetfall, with each faction having its own unique look, strategies, and abilities. Some examples of these are the more common human faction that plays like a team from XCOM, the Vanguards, who rely on firing lines and have access to turrets and drones, or you have the Curco, an insect faction that relies heavily on melee and a hive mind strategy, such as creating a swarm to overpower your opponents, among others. Each of these factions play very differently from each other, and will force you to think differently about how you approach each battle. You can also upgrade each unit in your army and recruit neutral units around the vast maps. The maps are also randomly generated whenever you start a new campaign, and they are beautiful to look at. You can even build bases and specialize each sector of your base to better support your army. With the Premium Edition, you gain access to additional factions, campaigns, and world events that will keep you busy for a while. Age of Wonders Planetfall is an excellent game if you like a good blend of 4X and tactical turn-based strategy games. At number 2, we have BATTLETECH Mercenary Collection, a tactical strategy game where you command a band of mercenary mechs and mech warriors. Your team is struggling to survive, but you find yourself being drawn deeper and deeper into a brutal interstellar civil war fought between the nobles. Being in charge of your mercenary group, you could customize your mech loadouts, level up your mech warriors, and upgrade your ship. These mech warriors don't work for free though, so you have payroll to worry about too. So where does the money come from? You earn money by taking on random contract missions and story missions as mercenaries for hire. Where Mech Warrior shines is the story campaign missions that offer unique objectives and special bosses to fight, in addition to some great writing, voice acting, and hand-drawn cutscenes. What could be slightly frustrating is that in order to unlock more story missions, you have to take on more random contract missions. On the battlefield, your mechs could target limbs of your enemy mechs, fire at their legs and they become immobilized, fire at their hand to eliminate one of its weapons, etc, etc. This makes positioning your mechs for offense and defense absolutely vital. The problem though is that there's quite a bit of RNG involved with weapons having its own hit chance, and when it does hit, sometimes it's not even a limb that you are targeting. In saying that, BATTLETECH does offer some great storytelling and some really cool robot busting action. It is definitely worth your time, especially with the Mercenary Collection giving you access to all 3 expansion packs, adding even more content with new stories, mercenary missions, special events, maps, mechs, and so forth. It's never been a better time to get into BATTLETECH than this bundle. At number 3, we have Pillars of Eternity Definitive Edition, a classic style RPG where you explore a vast world, talk to tons of NPCs, and fight through deadly dungeons. As per classic RPG, you get to choose your class, and the definitive edition of the game has 11 classes to choose from, each with their own playstyles. You also get to sculpt your own story with choices that you make, producing consequences to the story, thus immersing you into your own story. The writing is amazing in this game, but does require you to read, like, a lot. If you're just wanting to brute force your way through the dialogue, you can, but you'll be missing the whole point of the RPG. This game is long. The base game will easily clock you in about 80 hours, and with the definitive expansion, this game is even longer. You'll be busting monsters in the face, slicing them into pieces, and setting them on fire with your mage. Being such a big game, there are tons of varying environments to explore with an amazing number of NPC, monsters, and enemies that populate the environments. This game isn't a pushover either. It is shockingly tough and will challenge even the most strategic minds in battle. If you're into classic RPGs like Baldur's Gate and don't mind reading and getting lost in the lore while challenging yourself in some difficult battles, then Pillars of Eternity might just be your next favorite game. At number 4, we have Knights of Pen and Paper 1 and 2 Collection. Knights of Pen and Paper 1 and 2 are turn-based RPG games where in addition to playing as characters in the game, you play as the players of the characters in the game, complete with your own Dungeon Master, or DM for short. Think of it as playing a game of tabletop Dungeons & Dragons. Like classic D&D, the DM dishes out a story and quests to take on, and you are to roll a dice for opportunity. There are the usual classes that you can find in any RPG, like a warrior, mage, and hunter. But what really makes this game different is, in addition to the regular classes, you can also choose who is playing the game, like a rich kid or an old timer or a cheerleader, among others, which will bring additional benefits to your class. So you could be a rich kid thief or a cheerleader warrior. The game doesn't take itself too seriously either, as you can see so far. The dialogue in this game is the dialogue between the players and the dungeon master, meaning you will get the occasional request to use a toilet break while in the heat of an adventure. The battle system is quite a simple turn-based JRPG battle system. You get to level up and upgrade your party, recruit new party members, and so forth. This game is fun, funny, and easy to just pick up where you left off, play a couple of rounds, have a good laugh, then come back later. If you're into a funny and casual RPG experience, Knights of Pen and Paper 1 and 2 are great games to get into, especially in its collection edition. At number 5, we have Shadowrun Returns, a strategy role-playing game set in a futuristic cyberpunk Seattle. Set in 2054, you get a phone call from your old partner, Sam. He's just been killed and his life insurance goes to you. Lucky you. But first, you have to find his killer. Out of money and with no job, you head to Seattle to solve this murder mystery and claim your insurance money. The story is linear and so is the world. There isn't a lot of exploring to do and side quests are mundane. But the main story itself is where the meat is. Characters that you meet along the way are interesting to talk to, if you bother to read the dialogue. And like previous entries in this bundle, there is a lot of reading to do. If you do read and get into it, you'll find that the story gets darker and darker and more intriguing as you plot along, so I would recommend that you read them. In terms of gameplay, this game plays like a tactical strategy game where you move your characters around the map and destroy your enemies with your abilities or guns, much like an XCOM game but without the graphical budget. This game has a very deep skill tree for you to build your character towards. Naturally, each skill tree has its own unique skills and abilities, which are fun to uncover and experiment. Like the ability of a Decker to hack into cyberspace, bringing the battle to a literal cyberspace, or a shaman who can summon the dead to fight alongside him. With a very interesting murder mystery story involving orcs, hackers, cults, and corporations, and a fun combat system, Shadowrun Returns is an awesome addition to your library. At number 6, we have Shadowrun Dragonfall, Director's Cut. A game that started as an expansion DLC for Shadowrun Returns, the Director's Cut of Dragonfall features new missions, revamped combat system, customizable teams, and redesigned in-game interface. Instead of being set in Seattle like Shadowrun, Dragonfall sets itself in Berlin, Germany. You play as a newcomer into a team of Shadowrunners. While attempting to steal some data from Harfell Mansion, your team discovers a military compound and things go horribly wrong when one of your teammates die on the mission. And there begins your next journey in the Shadowrun series. This game focuses more on character interaction and decision making, rather than a linear story, contrasting itself from Shadowrun Returns. And this contrast shows not only in the story, but also in the mission structure, where you can do missions in any way that you want. The decisions that you make varies in each mission, and this affects rewards, and may cause you to skip some battles too. You can bring some mercenaries or your own teammates on missions, allowing you to decide which mercenary and teammates complement your own build better. After each mission, you can talk to your teammates to learn more about their past and concerns, bring a meaningful layer of character to your teammates. The combat is also more polished than Shadowrun Returns, with access to even more varied skills and an improved cover system. If you want more Shadowrun Returns, then you'll definitely enjoy Dragonfall. At number 7, we have Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition, the third and final entry to the Shadowrun game series on Steam. This third installment in the series focuses on a team of Shadowrunners in Hong Kong. You play an orphan who was once living on the streets. You and your foster brother Duncan were adopted by a man named Raymond Black. However, after getting arrested, you became estranged to Duncan and Raymond 8 years before the events of the game. Upon your release, you get a message from Raymond to travel to Hong Kong to reunite. However, when you arrived, you find that Raymond never made it. You go on an adventure looking for answers to this mystery. Why did Raymond summon you to Hong Kong? Like the previous two Shadowrun games, Shadowrun Hong Kong is a strategic role-playing game with a mystery. The game gives you freedom in how you finish each mission. You could choose to use your charisma and charm everyone to victory, upgrade your security clearance in the Matrix, or even just simply gun everybody down. Each approach will offer different opportunities for exploration. Not going guns blazing allows you to explore more and thus provide more rewards. This freedom also adds to replayability, just in case you want to know how the other approaches play out. The Matrix, which is the internet world in Shadowrun, has also seen a change in which you have to be more stealthy than ever before. Shadowrun Hong Kong is basically more of the Shadowrun games, just with a different backdrop, story, and also each with their own ever so slightly different combat system. This bundle is awesome if you're looking for some good strategy and tactical combat games with some very deep story and lore. Coupled with the fact that most of these games in this bundle come with their DLCs and multiple games within the game, this bundle is a great deal if you love some strategy.